Yo, Fishing Squad. Welcome back to Fishing 24 Hours, your go-to channel for epic fishing adventures, pro tips, and stories that'll make your heart pound. Today, we re-diving into a must-know skill: how to tie fishing hooks securely so they dante slip when you re-battling big fish. Nothing stings worse than a monster carp or catfish breaking free because you're not gave out. We're talking common carp, tilapia, bass, and catfish in rivers and lakes across the U.S. This video will break down bulletproof knots like the Palomar, improved clinch and uni, plus how to pick hooks and lines, check your knots, and reel in giants without losing them. Get ready to turn America's waterways into your trophy hunting playground. Grab an ice-cold soda, kick back, and let's hit the water for this hook-tying masterclass. It all started one blazing morning on the Colorado River in Texas, where the water flowed steady, live oaks lined the banks, and the sun scorched with no shade in sight. Catfish were lurking deep, but my crew and I kept losing fish hooks, slipping, lines tangling, floats dead still. I was ready to call it quits when my buddy Jake, our group's gearhead who's always testing new tricks, smirked and said, "Yo, your knots are weak. Tie a Palomar with a 0.35 millimeters line, and that catfish ain't going nowhere." I gave it a shot, tied a size 5 hook with a Palomar knot on a 0.35 millimeters line, and cast fishy chum near a river bend. In under 7 minutes, my float dove, and I reeled in a 12-pound catfish, thrashing like a beast in the Colorado's murky flow. The crew went wild, hollering under the Texas sun. That day, I hooked more big fish, my bucket overflowing, grinning ear to ear. That's when it hit me. A solid knot is the key to landing giants. This video will spill all the secrets on tying hooks securely for big fish. From why knots are make or break, to mastering the Palomar, improved clinch, and uni knots for carp, tilapia, bass, and catfish in the Colorado River and Lake Guntersville. We'll cover picking hooks and lines, checking knots, gear, timing, techniques, real-world stories, beginner tips, and safety notes. These tricks work across America's rivers, lakes, ponds, and canals, from Texas to Alabama, helping you reel in monsters without a hitch. Let's dive in. Why secure hook tying matters. A rock-solid knot is the backbone of landing big fish. In shallow, murky waters like the Colorado River or Lake Guntersville, with no shade, big fish like catfish and bass fight hard, putting insane pressure on your hook. A weak knot slips, and your trophy fish is gone, along with your pride. Tie wrong like a sloppy knot or mismatched line, and the hook twists or breaks under strain, especially in strong currents like the Colorado. A tight knot, like the Palomar or uni, locks the hook in place, handling 10 to 15-pound fish without budging. I lost a 9-pound carp at Guntersville to a loose knot once, and it taught me to double-check every tie. Top knots for secure hook tying. 1. Palomar knot. The Palomar is a B-strong, simple, perfect for big fish like catfish and bass. How to tie? Thread a 0.20 to 0.35 millimeters leader through the hook eye size 4 to 8. Double the line, form a loop, and pass it through the loop to make a loose knot. Slip the hook through the loop. Pull slowly to tighten. Trim excess to 1/16 inch. Pros: handles heavy pulls, no slip. Use for catfish, bass in the Colorado River with 0.35 millimeters braided line. Tip: test by pulling. Hard hook shouldn't spin. 2. Improved clinch. Not the improved clinch is quick, reliable, great for tilapia and carp. How to tie? Thread a 0.20 to 0.25 millimeters leader through the hook eye size 6 to 8. Wrap the tag end around the standing line 5 to 7 times. Pass it through the small loop near the eye, then through the big loop. Pull slowly to tighten, trim to 1/16 inch. Pros: fast hides hook well. Use for tilapia, carp in Lake Guntersville with 0.25 millimeters nylon line. Tip: wet the line before tightening to avoid heat damage. 3. Uni knot. The uni is versatile, strong, works for all fish. How to tie? Thread a 0.25 to 0.35 millimeters leader through the hook eye size 4 to 8. Double back, wrap 5 to 6 times around both lines, pass the tag end through the small loop. Pull slowly, tighten, trim to 1/16 inch. Pros: flexible, holds under pressure. Use for bass, catfish, in fast water like the Colorado River. Tip: pull both ends evenly for a balanced knot. Choosing hooks and lines. Hooks: pick sharp hooks, match to fish size. Tilapia, carp, size 6 to 8, compact. Size 4 to 6, sturdy for pulls. Catfish, size 5 to 7, tough. At Guntersville, a size 7 hook with cornmeal bait. Nailed carp. Check hooks for sharpness, sharpen if dull. Lines: tilapia, carp. Main line 0.25 to 0.30 millimeters, 8 to 12 pounds. Test: leader 0.20 to 0.25 millimeters, 4 to 6 pounds. On the Colorado, 0.35 millimeters braided line. Handled catfish like a champ. Use fluorocarbon in murky water to hide the leader. Tips for checking and using knots. Test knots. After tying, pull hard by hand to check if the hook twists or slips. Retie if loose. Tighten right. Pull slowly, evenly, to avoid heating the line. I lost a tilapia at Guntersville by rushing the knot, weakening the line. Keep lines clean. Rinse after each trip to remove mud or salt. Wind neatly to avoid tangles. Swap hooks. Dull or bent hooks reduce hookups. Carry spare size 4 to 8 hooks. Matching gear rod: 12 to 15 feet for tilapia, carp, 9 to 12 feet for bass, 15 to 18 feet for catfish. A 14-foot rod is ideal for the Colorado River's open banks. Reel 2000 to 3000 series for tilapia, carp, 3000 to 4000 for bass, catfish. A 2500 reel balances most fish. Float: sensitive 2 to 3 grams, red-yellow for tilapia, carp, 4 grams for catfish, no float for bass. Weight: 2 to 3 grams for tilapia, carp, 3 to 4 grams for catfish. Small weights keep bait 6 to 8 inches deep. Line: as above, check for fraying before each trip. Best fishing times: tilapia and carp feed hard early morning for 30 to 7 a.m. and late afternoon for 30 to 6:30 p.m. Base hunt at dawn or dusk. Catfish bite best at night, 7 o'clock to 10 p.m. Avoid midday heat, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. In cool months November, February, fish stay deep, needing size 6 to 8 hooks and 0.25 millimeters lines for stealth. In warm months May, August, they're mid-water, where 0.20 millimeters leaders work better. Fishing techniques: tilapia, carp, cast to the bottom 6 to 8 inches with a sensitive float, balance 8. Fish 4: watch for steady sinks, big fish, or twitches, small fish. Wait for a full sink, set lightly, base cast near grass, twitch every 3 seconds, keep line tight. Use size 4 to 6 hooks, live shrimp bait. Catfish: cast deep, 8 to 12 inches, near chum. Wait for a full float dive. Use size 5 to 7 hooks, fishy chum. Reeling big fish. Set firmly, hold rod at 45 degrees. Reel steadily. Avoid yanking to prevent slips. I lost a catfish on the Colorado by pulling too hard, so patience is key. Real-world experience. Stay flexible. Watch other anglers if they're landing fish. Ask about their knots. At Guntersville, I copied a guy's Palomar knot and hooked carp fast. Swap hooks if fish aren't biting. Size 6 to 8 for small fish, 4 to 6 for big ones. Stay quiet, avoid splashing.
Out.
Look for bubbles or fish wakes to pick spots. If your float's still, check your knot or move. On the Colorado, a tight Palomar knot let me land a 12-pound catfish without a hitch. Real story 1. Colorado River. One muggy evening on the Colorado River. The oaks whispering in no shade. Bass were prowling near grass. My buddy's loose knots kept slipping, losing fish left and right. I tied a Palomar knot with a 0.35 millimeters braided line, size 5 hook, and cast live shrimp near a grassy bank. In 6 minutes, the water swirled, and I reeled in a 5-pound bass, fighting like a champ. The crew shouted, "That knot's bulletproof." I hooked more big fish, my bucket heavy, a Texas memory for the ages. Real story 2, Lake Guntersville, another time at dawn on Lake Guntersville. With mist rolling and pines swaying, carp were skittish. My friend's sloppy knots failed, hooks twisting free. I picked a muddy bank, tied an improved clinch with a 0.25 millimeters fluorocarbon leader, size 7 hook, and cast cornmeal bait with a 2.5 gram red float. In 8 minutes, the float sank, and I pulled up a 7-pound carp, gleaming in the sunrise. The gang cheered. Not game strong? I added more fish, feeling like the king of Alabama's waters. Tips for beginners new to fishing? Start with the improved clinch for tilapia and carpese and solid. Use size 6 to 8 hooks, 0.25 to 0.30 millimeters lines. Cast to the bottom for carp, near grass for bass, deep for catfish. Note which knots and hooks work. If your float's still, check for loose knots or dull hooks. Fish early mornings, late afternoons, or nights for catfish. Stay quiet, be patient. Carry spare hooks and check lines often. Safety notes, safety first. Avoid slippery banks on the Colorado River after rain. Out Guntersville, wear a life jacket near outflows. Keep noise low, avoid shadows fish, spook fast. Set a light behind you for night fishing to avoid tripping. Check hooks for sharpness to prevent hand cuts. Store lines neatly to avoid tangles. Prepping for the trip. Check sunrise, sunset times via apps for prime windows. 4:30 to 7 a.m., 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., or 7 o'clock to 10 p.m. for catfish. Pack size 4 to 8 hooks, 0.25 to 0.40 millimeters, lines nylon. Braided, fluorocarbon, 14-foot rod, 2,500 reel. 2 to 4 gram floats, 2 to 4 gram weights. Bring a chair, sunshade, non-slip shoes. Watch for bubbles or fish wakes. If no bites in 15 minutes, check knots or move. Level up by mastering Palomar knots, checking line wear, or using fluorocarbon in murky water. Advanced tips: practice tying knots fast. Test strength by pulling hard. Try fluorocarbon leaders in murky water for stealth. Swap hooks after 2 to 3 big fish to stay sharp. In crowded spots, find quiet corners to avoid spooking fish. Wrap up. Tying hooks securely turns rivers and lakes into big fish playgrounds. Palomar improved. Clinch and uniknots. Lock hooks tight, ensuring no fish slips away. Every cast with a solid knot, fish swarming under oak shade, feels like a true adventure. When your float sinks, heart racing, rod gripped tight, that's the angler's moment. Rookie or pro, these tips make you the boss of any water. That's Wrap Squad. We've cracked the knot tying code for big fish. Hope you're pumped to try it. Smash like, share with your fishing crew, and subscribe to Fishing 24 Hours for more epic guides. Got a killer knot story? Drop it in the comments. I'm dying to hear. Tight lines, monster catches. See you on the next adventure.